So, as is mentioned, my name is Frank Whitfield. I am and some of y'all know me. I'm just making sure this is for the record as well. So some of y'all are like, why is he reintroduced? My name is Frank Whitfield. I'm the farm manager here. I thought I'd give a little bit of background how I even got into farming. So I used to work for an organization called Save Our Children. It was the first job I ever had. I was 15 years old, and one day I'll share the testimony. I bumped my head, gotten in trouble. I need to do community service at the organization later on. And when I was serving there was a gentleman who was courting the executive director there. And she said, I want you to meet this guy. And I got a picture of him. I'll actually share that in a second. But she's like, I want you to meet this guy and hang out with him. So at this time, you know, I've given my life to God. I've gotten baptized. I'm on the straight and narrow path, really trying to get, just stay rooted in Christ. And my friend of mine comes with me. We get in the van with him, and he said, "What are you guys into?" He said, "We like working with kids, etc." And he said, "How can you be working with kids if you don't have a garden?" And we were like, "What does a garden have to do with helping kids and working with kids?" And he's like, "Y'all's talking about faith in God. How could you not have a garden?" And so we're on this road trip with him all day. And he starts to, and this is in Maurice, you'll see, but he's not a religious man, and he's just like challenging me on my faith. Of like, don't you know your faith says it started in the garden? Don't you know Jesus's parables are all about growing and sowing? And so he really shifted my mindset. And so my friends and I in college, we started an organization called Eden Vision. And it was rooted out of Ezekiel 36:35 that says, this land that was desolate has become like the Garden of Eden. And we took vacant lots in the city and turned them into gardens. And so we're doing that, trying to teach young people about entrepreneurship, about faith, trying to give them a legit hustle, because in my neighborhood, there's a lot of hustles, but we was trying to give them a legit hustle. And so I was doing that. And, that was my everyday, was working around delivering food. And then I met my wife. And so it was beautiful how we met. It was because I was trying to get help to make the organization scale and grow. And the pastor at the church at the time said, hey, you should talk to Kalina, because Kalina, she works at a bank. She can help you with this budget stuff, etc. So we met. I asked her on a date, or she thought it was a meeting. It became a date. And then things got real. And so I had to get a full-time job. Because at the time, I was just doing this garden stuff in the neighborhood. I wasn't really bringing in no money, but I was getting serious. I got to get a real job. So I put that on hold. And then we eventually bought a home in 2015. We built a garden at the home. But it's always been like something in the back of my mind. Like, all right, I got this skill set. I know how to do this, but what am I going to do with it? When I moved here to Atlanta, as God would have it, the mentor who taught me in Elyria also lives in Atlanta now. So as I was getting my feet settled, I just was showing up over his house, just working in his garden, because it's just the first time I've ever lived anywhere other than Ohio. So I was just trying to get settled, rooted, for no pun intended, I guess pun intended, trying to get rooted here. I was helping him in his farm, and also visiting here. And when I came here, I saw that y'all had this beautiful space back here, but it was nothing happening there. And that's where the story picks up. All right. I see some wheels turning. Can you, nobody's back there. I bet, can you, yours back. Can you hit the arrow and see if that will shift for you? Oh, it's turned on there as well. All right. Well, I got a handout for folks. But so when I get here, I talked to Reverend Bright, and Reverend Bright shares, the farm has been dormant for the past 2 years, but it was created about 20 years ago. It's had its heyday. It's been it's got this rich story behind it. I got some images from then, but it's been dormant for the past 2 years, and nothing has been happening. And he was really disheartened about, there was wood chips that had covered the whole growing space. So the whole growing space back there was just covered in wood chips. So I was online. I saw that there was this grant opportunity to work on a grant. So I say, Reverend Bright, can I apply for this grant? This could help out with the farm. I apply for the grant. We win the grant. It was a $3,200 grant to help revitalize the farm. And this was back in the fall of 2024. We get the grant, and I say, hey, this thing can be revived. This thing can be restored, Reverend Bright. We can do this or whatever. So we start having conversations with different people who are associated with the farm. And then in one of the meetings, as if y'all have ever worked with Reverend Bright, you know he will tell you to do something. So I was in the middle of the meeting. Somebody asked a question about the farm, and he says, well, if you got any questions, Frank is the farm manager, so direct them to him. And so I'm in the meeting, and I'm like, okay, I think that meant something there. So part of my calling to this ministry is twofold. One has been to serve Reverend Bright, and he's been a mentor to me. He's been someone that I love deeply. He's someone I care about and want to protect and serve. So of course I say yes, I accept it. Then we get busy, and let me see which one you got. It should be, let's see, that's the grant. You can put a grant up because we just applied for that grant, and that'd be cool to kind of talk through that. It works. So I'll get to that in a second. But so the type of gardening that I was taught is called raised bed lasagna layer gardening. And that is where, if soil's been contaminated where you're at, you put a layer of either cardboard or newspaper down to kind of separate, which it eventually decompose. You put your vegetable waste. So all of y'all can do this. All right. How many people already grow food here, by the way? How many people are already growing food at their house? Okay, I see 2, 3 hands. 3. All right. How many like to eat? Okay, all right. So we gonna convert y'all into growers from when it's all said and done. We're gonna convert everybody into growers. So everybody's growing something at their home. So yeah, you put your vegetable waste down, and then you put really good topsoil over top of that. And over time, it starts off high, but as it decomposes, it goes down into the ground, and you just have some of the most richest soil that you can grow. And so that's what we did out here. So you'll notice out there's always some newspaper that I'm catching flying around or something. It's because we've created these layers for it to be able to decompose in. So what my wife is handing out, do you have an extra copy? Thank you. Is a little snapshot of what happened, and it's all good, Malik. It's all good. You're getting a little snapshot of what we grew last year. So what we planted and grew last year, notice I said and grew, because some stuff we planted didn't grow, which is a whole nother lesson. But we grew okra, bell peppers, banana peppers, cucumbers, sweet potatoes, cantaloupe, mustard greens, 3 varieties of kale, zucchini, tomatoes, lemon balm mint, and wildflowers. And the beauty of the legacy here is that you have certain things that come back every year that are here. So things that grew here that just are going to be here again this year: peaches, apricots, plums, and mint. So those have been returning year after year. So that it really speaks to legacy. So the theme for 2025 was really around restoration. My goal was to restore the land that was done, restore the soil, restore the soul, and restore hope, because I really believe that there was still hope here that we needed to not forget. So I mentioned the Nature's Candy grant that we got in the fall. We then applied for a grant to the Food Well Alliance, which we won a $3,500 grant to be able to provide small stipends to folks who helped out. So we've had various people come and help. So for the total season last year, we raised $7,800. And there's one more $1,000 in there that we got reimbursed. It's not listed, but we got reimbursed for one of the projects. So let's praise God for the resources that came to the farm. And then from an expense standpoint, we spent money on clearing the land. So one thing about my way that I was taught to farm, we try to stay away from any chemicals, any heavy machinery that could like drip oil on the site and things like that. So you notice we have all electric mowers and things like that. And it's a no-till type of gardening, because tilling disrupts the ecosystem under the ground. So we don't do tilling. If we're going to do it, we do it once and then don't do it again, because like once the bugs are settled, let them settle and stay. So we did the initial land clearing, getting the wood chips out the way. Then supplies, you'll see the straw bales back there. We lay straw down to try to keep the weeds down, but the plants and those supplies, we were utilizing Deacon Lewis's, God rest his soul, his trailer, and through us utilizing, we tore his trailer up too. So we had to repair his trailer. We got that back to him. So we did some repairs there. And then we put some resources, again, as I mentioned before, in the stipends for folks who have been helping out. So as you can see here, our total expenses are around $6,500, $565. So we still have a balance, still have resources available to provide some stipends to folks who help out. The QR code will actually take you to the full deck that I have prepared. So if you want to see the full presentation, you can get it on that scanning that QR code. There's a picture of Reverend Bright in the lower left doing what he does. Valen telling me something else. You see pointing in that picture. But it's been such a blessing having him out there. And even when Deacon Lewis was here, it was such a blessing to get them out in the field and drive them around the site. You know, they got a chance to eat some fresh plums when they were done. So it was just, it was a blessing to be able to do that with them. Another activity you'll see is Sister Naya organized some soil testing. So you'll see in the lower right, you see Brother Carter, young Carter, there with some soil that got tested. And of course, we have high quality soil. And then there's some pictures of the harvest. So in 2026, the theme is around resilience. And we want to grow foods that are resilient foods, foods that will sustain us during hard times, food that can sustain weather patterns, and food that is versatile. So last year, some of the best harvest we had was around sweet potatoes. So we're going to grow a lot of sweet potatoes again this year. So get your recipes ready. I know Sister Pat, we talked about different recipes last year, so get them ready. Because we want to make sure we're utilizing sweet potatoes, such a versatile staple. But as you can see on this list here, you'll see the list of crops we plan to grow and the schedule of how it's going to work. So this month of February is important because we're starting seeds now. And my challenge to us as a congregation that I wanted to offer to you all to join is to adopt a plant. All right, so you see the kind of thread that goes from starting the seed to transplanting it over to the farm to maintaining it. I'd like you to consider, I'm going to look after this plant. And so I have seeds up here with me today. So you can take some seeds home with you, start some of those seeds at home, and then keep after them, give them some light, give them some water, give them some love, speak the blessing over them. And then when it's time, you'll bring it to the farm. We'll have a place for them to go into the farm. And then as it's there, every now and then go back there and check on your plant and see how it's going. So make sure the weeds aren't trying to kill it, or make sure it's got what it needs to grow. So trying to think, did I miss anything that I wanted to mention on here? And then I want to open up for any questions too. Any questions about anything? Questions about me, about the farm, etc. Yes, ma'am. Yes. So the question was about onions. So that's so funny you asked that question, because onions was an option, but it didn't fit what I felt fit with the theme of resiliency. Because I don't know anybody who eats an onion. You know what I mean? Onion. You eat onions straight up? I stand correct. I've never met anybody that ate onions. You learn something new every day. So I saw onions as more of how we use it. Like we had food last night. The onions was in the food as a seasoning. But now so yeah, we can try to figure a way to incorporate. Oh, she got it. She got it already taken care of. Okay. But yeah, we had an offer of onions. We didn't feel like it felt with the theme of the year, so we said no, thank you. But we offered it to the congregation. I don't know if anybody got any of those onions. Another thing, a superfood. Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Actually, that was given to us. So that was some seeds that was given to us. And speaking of that, on the 21st, we're trying to coordinate an event here at the farm to do a seed swap. So if you got seeds at home, or you just want to come get some seeds on the 21st, that's a Saturday, to meet out here at 11 o'clock, and we're going to swap seeds with folks. But yeah, we want to grow more eggplant than just the Asian eggplant, but definitely because eggplant's pretty versatile as well. That's something you can chop, you can roast, you can put it in stir fry, and it's hearty. You can make bread. Yeah, it's got some girth to it. Yes, ma'am. How much what? So this season, thank you for that. So We've had groups of volunteers come for 1 day of action, which we can knock out a lot of work. Like Pastor Hill coordinated a group from Hands On Atlanta, and we had about 40 folks maybe out there helping, and we got a whole lot of work done. So those 1 day experiences are important, and I'm glad you mentioned that, because the last Saturday of every month will be a volunteer day for the mass. Like if masses want to come out, bring your group, bring your whatever community you're part of, and come volunteer on the last Saturday of the month. But in terms of day to day, it was really me and Reggie, and and y'all may have met Reggie. He's a brother who used to live in the neighborhood. He no longer lives in the neighborhood, so we don't see him that often. But it was he and I out there 3 days a week, just really getting at it. Yep. So I'm out here. I was out here last season, Monday evening, Wednesday evening, and Saturday morning. Those are my 3 days. So I'd get off work, come over here. Monday, get off work on Wednesday, come here, and then on Saturday morning, I'm here. Mm. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So definitely, I would. So one, I want to connect with you and figure out how we can get these students connected to the work. But one gap when Reverend Bright was asking me, like, "Oh, what do you feel like you need at the garden?" The one thing I felt was needed was a coordinator, so that when people come to the farm, so say we got this group of volunteers, that everything is already lined up for them. You know the plan, I know the plan. When they come, here's the shovels, here's the tool, here's what needs to get knocked out and move on. Because when you're doing the work, it's hard to also coordinate those logistics. So I'll show up, I got stuff, but I'm trying to get it done. So that was the one piece, and I actually have a job description drafted up. And what Malik had pulled up, we just applied for another grant to the Food Well Alliance. We're going to be approaching a couple other funders, and part of it is to have a stipend to pay someone to do the coordinating work. I do this as a volunteer, but that coordinating work will really be helpful as I'm, trying to manage this. Any other questions? I got a question for y'all. What's your favorite fruit or vegetable? Beets. We got beets on here. What else? What? Peaches. Okay, definitely gonna have peaches. Carrots. We're growing carrots. Tomatoes is tough. So one thing about tomatoes, they require a lot of attention, a lot of water. But it's a great crop. That's why when I say about someone like adopting a plant, like if you're going to adopt a tomato, that's like a child that needs a lot of attention. So if you're going to adopt that, make sure you live in the neighborhood so you can check on your kid. What about you? What type of fruit or vegetable do you like? Plums. Okay. Well, the plums, they grow. It happens like this. So it's like you start seeing them, and next you know that tree is full, and we definitely need help because we was out there shaking the tree and catching them into stuff. So when the plum come, I hope you choose to adopt the plums because it was a lot of work. Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. No, watermelon is, I mean, I've grown watermelon. Watermelon is funny because just because it looks like it's something doesn't mean it is something. Which is a parable in itself. But a watermelon can look nice and big. You're like, oh, this is the best one. You crack it open, it's just white. Ain't no juiciness in it or nothing. So you got to make sure it's watered. And it requires a lot of attention. That's one of those ones like tomato. But it's definitely possible to be grown out there, but it requires a lot of attention. Or at home, where it's right in your backyard. Um, Grapes. I think we've done, Pastor Bright has done grapes here. I think we had talked about grapes before. No grapes, huh? I know we had the conversation about grapes. Yeah. Oh yeah. There's blackberry. I didn't put the blackberries in here. So if you notice, there's blackberries along the fence here. So that'll be when the spring hits. You'll start to see blackberries right along the fence when you come into the church. But yeah, I have to look in the grapes. It's a vine, so it's gonna be you got a container or put it against a fence or something. But we have those pallets back there, so that's a possibility. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, it's like you can plant it, no pun intended. So we did plant wildflowers last year all throughout in the picture you see, that's the wildflowers that we grew in the farm to try to increase that pollination. And we want to do that again this year. And so this year we really focused on this side of the house. So between here and the greenhouse we grew. This year we actually, if we get this grant, we want to expand it over the greenhouse, in the greenhouse and behind the greenhouse, and really grow, as wide as we can, as far as we can. So you'll see wildflowers hopefully all over the site this year. But we would love for y'all to get involved. There's a QR code again. You can contact me if you're interested in getting involved. I have seeds today. If you see something on this list, you're like, hey, I would like to adopt this plant. I got seeds today, including watermelon seeds. So please see me after service, and we'd love to. You got another question? Yes. Oh no, you can adopt anything. You can adopt anything. If you want to adopt something that's later in the season, I might have the seeds right now for it. If you choose to do something later, but it'd be great if you did something right now. Yeah, cool beans. All right. Yes. Yep. Great question. So there's asterisks next to certain ones, and it means we already started the seeds. Yeah. So we've already started those seeds, the ones that have the asterisks next to it. Well, I pray that y'all continue to pray for the farm. It is such a rewarding experience. As I told you, my mentor told me God started us in the garden. It is such a worshipful experience to just spend time, hands in the dirt, talking to God, seeing his creation, nurturing his creation. He's constantly teaching me out there. So I welcome you to just spend some time out there with me or by yourself. And again, I can give you some direction on what needs to be done, but spend some time this year in the garden at some point. Okay. All right. God bless.